Here in the Pacific Northwest, winter is slowly taking hold of the landscapes, transitioning mountains to snow-capped peaks and lakes to frozen ice. With that said, I'm venturing out for a quick overnight trip to embrace the chilly temperatures with a single goal to relax and take in the scenery. As a way to experience a familiar area from a new perspective, I've also packed the kayak with hopes of getting out on the water. So ride along and witness this beautiful Pacific Northwest landscape. As I continued to ascend up in elevation, there were clear signs of the cold weather that awaits. Traces of fallen snow, the frozen forest floor, and the peaceful atmosphere winter brings. Before getting camp set up, I wanted to take some time and revisit areas from before, which included a fun test for the Jeep. Over the years, many of you have seen and noticed that I'm not one to sit still. My experience outdoors expands far beyond the vehicle itself, and even more so once camp is set up. The purchase of the Oru Kayak has been the perfect complement to both my overland and outdoor travels. Taking little room in the vehicle and setting up in a matter of minutes, I'm able to get out on the water and experience the landscapes from a whole new perspective. even for areas I've previously visited. So how do you like to extend your camping experience? Let's hear it in the comments below. So some of you who have been following the channel for a little while now may recognize this particular lake. About a year or so ago, I came up here with my prior vehicle of the Tacoma, and I remember it was in the month of October and how beautiful it was because it was already starting to snow. And for that particular year, it was a great kickoff for the winter and snow camping season. So fast forward to now with the new setup, I wanted to do much of the same, but this time get the Oru Kayak out on the lake and witness it all from a completely different perspective. And I'm so happy I did before the roads are snow covered, and even more so before this lake starts to freeze over, which it already is on the banks there. But it's so beautiful, so stunning, and even more so tranquil up here, which is why I wanted to get in and kick off this particular year with some nice cold weather camping. The overnight lows are already starting to dip down into the mid-20s, so it definitely should be nice and chilly for this evening. But I'm happy to bring you guys along and kind of showcase this particular area. So this entire lake is pretty much now in the shade, so I think I'm gonna head back up, get the fire going, and maybe start thinking about dinner. So for tonight, we're doing one of my favorite Trader Joe's meals. It is a chicken mushroom ravioli. Basically, the mushroom ravioli is just heating up, and I like to add some chicken to it just for a little extra protein with it. And we're just gonna whip that up on the cast iron. Super easy. So for those who still might be in disbelief on how cold it is, I just pulled out the olive oil that I'm going to use for cooking tonight, and it is a solidified gel. Basically just heated it up over the fire to get it back into a liquid form. But yeah, that was interesting to kind of see. I do know, pro tip, last time I was here I accidentally left out the water jerry. And I woke up the next morning and it was completely frozen solid. It was just a solid block of ice, and I had no way to make coffee in the morning aside from the water that I brought up in the tent with me. So I'm not making that mistake as we're gonna get ready to dip into the mid-20s tonight. So for staying warm tonight, I'm going to be using the heated blanket again. So similar to my trip down in Mount Hood, this blanket I can actually keep in the tent, and I put it inside my sleeping bag, and then I'm powering it through the Bluetti power station, which is down inside the Jeep. So with an extension cable, I just run it all the way from there and through one of the windows of the tent, and it works out honestly perfect. It has 3 different modes: low, medium, and high. And then honestly, when space is limited inside the Jeep as far as just storage for like a dedicated alternative heater, I like to have things that have multiple purposes. So that power station, honestly, I can charge up all my camera gear, my phones, tablets, all that stuff, and then again use it for the purpose for tonight. And as I'm driving around during the day, I can just recharge that power station with a 12-volt in the car. So it works out pretty good, and the draw isn't too terribly bad overnight, but should keep me warm for this evening, getting down into the mid-20s. And overall, we'll be looking for a restful night. So we'll see you guys in the morning. I've always loved falling asleep to the sound of rain. However, packing down camp in it is a whole other experience. So with everything put away and this only being an overnight trip, it was time for me to head back, though not without a little final exploring. Well, alright guys, so that is going to do it for me for this trip. Even despite the rain, it was still awesome to get out here and enjoy the views and take in the scenery and get the kayak out on the water, but more so just proving that even with one night, you can still make the best of it no matter where you go. But I'm going to be heading back home now and get to editing and working on various projects. I hope all of you guys have a fantastic week or weekend whenever you're watching this. And as always, I sincerely appreciate the support. And until next time, safe travels.